Welcome, everybody. So glad that you're here, and wonderful to see lots of people. Today is going to be our final session in this series. I decided when I look back over the videos that we have that are posted on YouTube, really there's pretty much everything that I've wanted to say. I wanted to keep it simple. I've wanted to just offer a few, just a handful of tools to help you cultivate a meditation practice that works for you and to keep it going. And really my goal from the beginning was to just support you in meditating 10 minutes a day to start, and more importantly, to keep it a consistent practice than anything else. If you remember, just as a quick review, because repetition is a powerful way to get new information installed in your brain. So I always like to review. When you close your eyes, your brain begins making alpha waves, so you automatically start to relax. It's beautiful to go inside and just get more internal rather than being distracted by the outer world. So closing your eyes starts to set the body into rest mode. Meditating in the same place at least once a day is a beautiful way to entrain the mind to get it used to, oh, we're sitting here, it's time to get quiet and to meditate. The body loves a habit, a regular habit. That can also be true for the time that you meditate every day. Sometimes I meditate at the same time, sometimes I don't. I try to keep it consistent in the morning and at night. Sometimes I'll meditate during the day. And sometimes I'll miss the morning for whatever reason, and we'll make up for it sometime during the day. The goal is to set yourself up to succeed, not to beat yourself up when you miss a meditation. You just get right back on that wagon. So having a great place to meditate, a comfortable place, is helpful. Closing your eyes, connecting to your senses. Remember, your senses are a gateway to presence. So when you close your eyes in the beginning, one of the ways to pull your attention, your consciousness, away from the busy mind is to notice how you feel in your body. Notice your body on the chair or on the bed or on the floor, wherever you may be. Notice what you hear. And a lot of times I'll even say to myself, everything I hear just allows me to relax even more. So you notice what you hear. You might notice any scents in the room. Maybe you just cooked a meal, or maybe you have a window open and it's springtime like it is here, and the lilacs, the smell of lilacs are wafting in, or just you can notice what you smell. And again, notice what you feel in your body. Maybe if there's some tension, you could breathe into the places where you feel tension. And of course, the breath is your friend. When in doubt, tune back into your breath. When you find your consciousness getting hooked in by your mind, when you get on the crazy train, as we've talked about before, or you're about to step on the crazy train, bring your attention back to your breath. Sometimes I'll count my breaths and I'll play a game with myself. Let's see how long I can count before I get distracted. We talked about doing things mindfully during the day, noticing, oh, I'm sitting at the dining room table. I'm picking up my fork, noticing how your fork feels. Eating mindfully as a way to train yourself to bring your meditation practice into your everyday life, because ultimately that's what we're trying to do. We're learning to become more aware of where our consciousness goes, right? We're learning to pay attention to, we're learning to put some separation between you as the high self, the capital S self, and the thinking mind, which is not you. The mind is this computer that you have at your disposal, the most incredible computer. Unfortunately, for many of us, we just let that computer run the show. It keeps going back in the database. It keeps looking at the past, right? It keeps tapping into old experiences. So then we also talked about when meditating, or even during the day, when something happens and you find yourself getting pulled back into an old experience that was stored inside in some way, the practice of rising and releasing, allowing the feelings to rise, and imagine just releasing them into the ethers to be transmuted in some way. Rise and release was a a practice that I had spoken about as well. And I'm sorry if you, I can't shut off. Could you all hear that when that alarm went off? You could. You know, unfortunately, I have a new computer and it is not shutting off the, it's not shutting off the notifications, even though I set them to do not disturb. So I apologize. Hopefully nobody else will text me during this. So rising and releasing, when uncomfortable feelings come up, giving yourself an opportunity to just imagine that there's a lot of old stuff stored inside and you're doing some housekeeping, some house cleaning. So when something happens in your present day life that triggers an old memory or an uncomfortable memory, allow yourself to just let that memory rise and release, or the feelings rise and release. You'll be amazed at how easy it is to get on with your life. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share a little story with you. Last week, not last week, a few days ago, I was going to bed and I was getting dressed for bed and I felt something on my stomach and I looked down and I noticed I'd been bitten by a tick, a deer tick. And my first reaction was, oh no, because I've been bitten, I don't know, a year or two before and had to go on antibiotics for a month. And it wasn't a pleasant experience. And so I saw the tick and my first reaction was, oh my God, I can't believe I've been bitten by a tick. And the moment I noticed myself get triggered, because I was suddenly thinking of the old experience, I closed my eyes and took a breath and just thought, rise and release. Just let whatever fear is there, let it come up, sweetheart. You know, I always talk to myself this way, right? I'm trying to encourage all of you to do the same thing. Sweetheart, it's okay. I know you're feeling nervous because of what happened before. Just let those feelings come up and let them go. Rise and release, rise and release. And so then the next question was, okay, this is what's unfolding before me. What do I need to do to handle it? I went into the bathroom, I removed the tick, I put some alcohol on it. It was 11:30 at night. I wasn't going to go anywhere or call anybody. I did a little bit of research online to see if there was anything else I should do. And in the morning, I called my doctor and discovered that all was fine. That, you know, I would just watch it. And, but I was marveling, like I was so grateful for my meditation practice and the way that it has really embedded itself in my daily life on most days, where something that normally would have triggered me and would have been scary suddenly was just an experience, an opportunity to deal with what was unfolding before me. That's what happens when you practice. As I mentioned before, I love Michael Singer talks about low-hanging fruit, right? When you notice when you're driving in the car and the person in front of you is going too slow, or it's raining on the day that you want to go for a hike and you get all agitated and irritated, those are the times to practice stepping back, you know, noticing your reaction, noticing your thinking, and stepping back from that. Remembering, I am a high being and my reaction is the product of my thinking. Let me just get some space between those two things. And in doing that, when you get really good at handling things like that, the low-hanging fruit, when the big things come, they get easier to handle. So those are some of what we've spoken about during the sessions that we've had here. And remember, you can go back right to the beginning if you go to my website, you can find right under the Zoom gatherings, you'll be able to find all of the prior classes. You can go back and revisit, meditate together with all of us using the YouTube videos, and they'll all remain there. They're on YouTube as well as on the website. They're just on the website in one place to make it easy for you. And so I thought what we could do, somebody wrote to me, I apologize, I think it was Karen, Lisa, right? Was Karen the name? I think, yes. Sorry. Go ahead, Lisa. I forgot you're muted. I think it was Karen. That's okay. Who wrote and asked me if I was familiar with Lynn McTaggart's work. And if you're not familiar with her work, I encourage you to look up Lynn McTaggart. Lisa, maybe you could just put it in the chat box if you put a link to her website in there. Lynn's done a lot of work on groups of people meditating together with an intention and making big changes. I'm very familiar with her work. I've met Lynn and have known her work for many years and love what she does. So in the spirit of that work, I thought it would be nice for us to, it would be good for us to start with a 5-minute meditation, once again, holding the intention of peace in the Ukraine and also with Russia. I'll continue to use the golden blanket of peace, just sort of slowly descending over those areas, just because we've used that before. And I feel like it's a good way to anchor in that practice. And then when we come out of that, I'm going to give you some time to ask any questions that you might have. So I invite you to just hold off on your questions or chats for right now. Anything in the chat box for right now. We'll have time for that so that you get all your questions answered before we wrap up this series. And don't worry, because if and when I decide to do something else, you're all on the list. So you'll know, you'll be emailed and you'll know what's going on. And I assume all of you follow your subscribers to my newsletter. That's always the best place to know what's going on with me, because there's a lot of things that are changing right now, and you'll read about it in the newsletter. All right, so there you have it. And Judith and Chuck, I'm glad to see you're here again. I see you there, yes. And there's somebody else behind you. I see you brought a friend. Hi there. All right, so let's settle in and send some peace to Ukraine, shall we? And I'm going to hope that nobody texts. Let's just say that if anybody texts us while we're meditating, let's just decide that chime will only allow us to deepen our meditation, shall we? Let's do that. Okay. So when you're ready, you can close your eyes. As a matter of fact, I'm going to, I'll mute. Once we get to the silent part, I'll mute myself too, so I won't be nervous about somebody interrupting us. So let's get comfortable. Close your eyes, settle into where you are. I'm so grateful to have you here. So grateful to be able to spend this time with you meditating. Follow your breath. You're all experienced meditators now. If you catch yourself getting hooked by your mind, that's okay. It's normal. You're in practice. You will be for the rest of your life. Just gently bring yourself back to this moment. And when you're ready, I want you to imagine a beautiful golden blanket hovering above Ukraine and Russia, hovering above that area of the earth. Just see that golden blanket in any way that works for you. A golden blanket of peace. And with each slow, deep breath, in and out through the nose, I want you to imagine that blanket slowly descending toward the land. With each deep breath, the blanket gets a little lower. It sends out healing, loving energy to everyone in that whole area. The blanket calms bodies and minds. This golden blanket of peace heals broken hearts. See this golden blanket of peace just resting on the land, calming the whole area. Creating a ceasefire. A completion to this broken chapter of life. Hold the intention of peace. Beautiful. You're such good people. And when you're ready, you can slowly bring yourself back. Great. Thank you for doing that with me. I appreciate it. So I wanted to just say a little about, once again, why this practice of meditation, learning these tools or using these tools is so important. And I've said this before, and it's worth repeating a million times. And that is that most human beings, now think about this, and I think about this when I think about the war in Ukraine as well. Most human beings on the planet spend all of their energy attempting to manipulate the outer world in order to feel okay. Now, sometimes it feels very real and necessary. If you're starving and you have a family to feed, all of your consciousness is going to be focused on feeding your family, right? But for a lot of people, we suffer endlessly, needlessly, and endlessly because we spend so much time either wanting something to happen really, really badly or not wanting something to happen really, really badly. And our source of suffering is the way in which we communicate with ourselves around those things, right? We keep thinking about what we want. We keep thinking about what we don't want. We imagine worst case scenario, or we imagine best case scenario. We're attached either way. And we end up suffering. Oh, I hope I get that job. What if I don't get that job? If I don't get that job, what will I do? Will I ever get a job? I think I'm too old. Maybe I'm too young. I mean, the mind is a powerful computer that can just drum up whatever it needs to keep you engaged with it instead of you staying engaged with yourself, capital S. So the reason this practice is important is to continuously teach you that you are not your thinking mind. You are not a victim of your thinking mind. What we want is to help you develop a practice that makes it comfortable to live with yourself. Imagine that. Imagine being a safe place to live. Imagine not being afraid of yourself when something bad happens. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? By now, with the meditation practice that you've been engaged in, I would imagine that you're seeing what we do to ourselves with our thinking mind, right? It's like the example I'm pretty sure I gave in one of these videos where I used to be so afraid of public speaking. And I thought it was because I wanted you to like me, right? I wanted the audience to like me, or I didn't want the audience to not like me, right? I didn't want to upset the audience or bore the audience or piss somebody off. Like I wanted people to like me. Until my friend Debbie Ford said to me, sweetheart, it has nothing to do with the audience. It has to do with the audience in your head. The critic that looks for what you didn't do right when you come off stage. And she was absolutely right. And it's a perfect example of how we walk around so afraid to be with ourselves because we're not very good company. I love it. Michael Singer says, he said, I think in Untethered Soul, and his new book is out, by the way. If you've not picked up a copy, I highly recommend it. It's again, he says the same thing over and over again. And this work requires repetition. And it's so helpful. So it's called Living Untethered. Lisa, maybe you could put a link to from Amazon to that in the box. That'd be great. Thank you, honey. He talks about how if most of us had a physical, actual roommate living in our home that spoke to us the way we speak to ourselves, we'd kick them out, right? We would. You're so fat. You never lose weight. You don't eat right. You lost your job again. You're not good with money. Like, I mean, my God, I'm surprised. It is astounding to me with the billions of souls on this planet that we actually have survived this long. It really is. There are times where I just think it is a miracle that we're all here together. And all of you are here really trying to connect with the reality that you are not your thinking mind. You're so much higher than that, so much bigger than that, so much better than that. And so this is really about learning to become a safe place for yourself. And meditation has taught me to be far more self-compassionate. I walk around all the time. I love you, sweetheart. Or don't be afraid. It's okay. I got you. I got you. or just the act of not getting pulled into some drama and stepping back and going, whoa, wait a minute. Let me just let what's happening come up and release, come up and release. It's called, in spiritual terms, in many different religions, it's called purification, right? When you allow what's stuck inside of you and old to rise and release, you are purifying yourself. It's called purification. You're cleaning out that messy home inside that keeps you getting triggered all the time. And you will notice a difference over time. I'm telling you, I've been practicing now for 2.5 years, and my life is dramatically different today than it was when I started. I can't tell you how I talk to myself in a more loving way, and I don't even realize it. It's happening, and I think, how did that happen? Oh, meditation. So, there's a part of me that wants to say whatever I can to encourage you and inspire you to keep the practice up. And probably the most important thing I can say to you is, you will fall off the wagon. Just get back on. Just get back on. Just start tracking again. Start making a little note in a daily diary, a little M with a check mark, or a gold star, as some of you do, which I think is just a beautiful thing. Give yourself a gold star on a calendar. You will get back on track. So I'm wondering if there are any questions that you might have. I'll look back through the chat box real quick here. I'm wondering if you have any questions for me that might be helpful for you in continuing the practice before we do another meditation together. And you can also feel free, if you feel like you've been consistent with your meditation practice, feel free to just put a yes in the chat box. I like seeing the yeses. That will help me to know this is working for you. Yes, Sally, the sessions are ending. This is the final one in this series. There will probably be another series. I'm just always wanting to do stuff like this. And I wish it could go on too, but endings are important parts of life too. I have learned that. So great. I'm so glad to hear that this is working for many of you. Phyllis, I don't know what all those 8s are, but I'm going to decide it's good luck. It's infinity. There we go. Let's see. Oh, look at all those yeses. I'm so glad. Yeah, Chris, Chris says there's a big need for me around self-compassion. Just the practice of putting your hand on your heart. We're going to do a little self-compassion meditation next. And putting your hand on your heart can make all the difference in the world. It really can. It sort of sends a message to the body that it's okay, you can relax. Vanessa says, can you address meditation versus tapping? Yes, tapping is a technique that we use in order to calm the body's energy system down or to heal past experiences that get in the way of present day. Meditation is really about learning to be with yourself. Now, it's really about learning to be with yourself, capital S. But in the beginning, you think you're learning to be with yourself, the busy mind. So meditation is about learning to be in silence with oneself, unattached to the thinking mind. And so guided meditations in the beginning are fine. Using them sometimes, I don't use them much anymore, but in the beginning, the first 6 months, I used them just to calm myself down and point my focus somewhere. But ultimately what we want is we want you to be okay with being with yourself and creating a witnessing perspective, witnessing yourself going through life so that you're not reacting. You're able to go, oh, look at that. I'm reacting. Hold on. How do you know you're reacting? Because I see myself reacting. Well, who's the self that sees you reacting? Oh, that's who I really am, the soul. You see? So they're two very different things. They're both very helpful, but this is all about learning to be quiet with yourself. Yes, repetition, really important. David G, love David G's work. I love him. He's a sweetheart. And please, those of you that say, I'm going to really miss the classes, go back and go back and view them again and again and again. Just fast forward to the meditations. Terry does a great job of letting you know where they are. Yes, when your anxiety is high, doing something like this, by the way, it's called, oh my goodness, I'm going to space on the name. Somebody will tell me, somebody will put it in the chat box. It's a technique. I had a pet loss CD that just came out last month, which sounds true. It's called How to Survive the Loss of a Pet. And I go through this exercise, and I'm like totally spacing on what it is, but it's a great way to calm yourself down when the anxiety is high. You can also do it with your face. Just gently rub your face. It's another way to just calm the nervous system down. Let's see. Havening, thank you. Yes, it's called havening. You can look it up. Havening. It really works. Just gently rubbing your hands down your arms is a great way. Starting small, yes. 3 minutes a day is fine. That's where we wanted, right? We wanted to begin, and we wanted to begin in a way that would allow you to succeed. So I asked you to, yes, just start with 2 or 3 minutes a day. There have been days now where something has happened, something's come up, and I've been busy, and my meditation check was because I meditated for 2 minutes. But I will say this, that I carry my meditation all throughout the day as best I can. I keep trying to remember, hey, Cheryl, you're here. Phyllis, that's great. Phyllis says, yeah, sorry about all those 8s. I got a little too relaxed during my meditation. I love that. Do you know 8 is the Chinese symbol for abundance? So Phyllis, let's just imagine you've got some abundance coming your way. How about that? Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like there's not a lot of questions here, which is great. So Chitra, you're very welcome. Manuela, public speaking stresses me as I worry about being criticized and ridiculed. Yes, Manuela, but you're worried about being criticized by yourself. I want you to meditate on that. I want you to notice that the fear of being criticized, I find in all my years of coaching that the people who are usually the most competent are the hardest on themselves. And actually, there are scientific studies that show the more competent you are, the more ruthless you can be with yourself. Those are my words, not a study's words. But so Manuela, it would be great for you. For the longest time, I used a mantra with public speaking. It's not a very sexy, I mean, it was, even if I suck, I will love myself anyway. That was my mantra for public speaking. And I would literally, before going on stage, I would say, sweetheart, even if you suck, I will love you anyway. And when I came off stage, I would always focus on what worked really, really well. Louise Hay did the same thing for a long, long time. So let's see. Yes, Linda. So Linda asked, could I speak about rise and release again? So within us, we don't do feelings very well as a human race. We're not really taught how to be with uncomfortable feelings. So a lot of times when difficult things happen in life, we shove them down. We shove them inside. We ignore them. We deny them. We disassociate from them. We eat to shove them down. We drink to shove them down. We do drugs. We watch TV. We surf the net. We're just trying to not deal with what's going on inside. But they don't go away. They stay in there. Have you ever noticed, for example, Linda, when your buttons get pushed, it's because there's a button in there to get pushed, right? So somebody says something to you and it sounded just like something your mother said to you 30 years ago, and suddenly you're all riled up. But that was 30 years ago. How come it's happening today? Well, somebody just pushed that button, and instead of ignoring it or denying it or doing your best to avoid it, the goal is to go, oh, not just push that old mother button. Let me just let that memory rise. I'm going to imagine it rising up and releasing, rising up and releasing. I had this happen the other day. I went downstairs into the basement into a closet I hadn't been in a while. And when I opened it up, there was an old scratching post that belonged to Poupon, my first cat that passed away, that I completely forgot about. And when I saw it, I went, oh, oh, I can't believe this is here. And I immediately was hit with this wave of sadness. And I went, let me just let that sadness, like I could do it right now. Like, just let that sadness come up. Sweetheart, let it come up. Let it come up and release. It's inside. Let it come up and release. See, that's a little ding saying, good job, girl. Come back to this moment. So that's what I'm talking about, Linda, is just getting in the habit of noticing every time something gets triggered for you, it is an invitation. It's like the universe saying, here we go. Let's let this come up and out. Let's clean out what's in there so that you're far less reactive. I hope that makes sense, Linda. I hope that's helpful. Let's see. Just want you to know that meditation and breathing into a counterform, breathing out to a countervate are very healing in dealing with tinnitus or tinnitus. I never know how to say that. Thank you. Yes. Did you say that because you know that's what I have? When I was taking antibiotics for a tick bite, I wound up with tinnitus because I had to take the antibiotics for a month. And meditation really helps because it just calms the body down. It helps with a lot of things. So yes, Mary, thank you. I don't know, Chris, because I jump when my computer rings. And if anybody knows how to, a secret way to shut off the notifications, and I've done a lot of research, please feel free to email lisa@cherylrichardson.com. I'd appreciate it. Okay, and yes, Sandy, this meditation really does help with OCD as well, because you know, part of working with OCD is learning to challenge some of the habitual behaviors that get triggered. You know, OCD is anxiety related. So when you learn to calm yourself down, you can just put some space between you and the anxiety that is going to cause you to do certain behaviors like washing hands or counting steps or whatever it might be. And a lot of people have been grappling with OCD since the beginning of the pandemic. It was as if we had a giant, you know, it's like everybody was trained in being, you know, developing some kind of OCD during the pandemic, and it's been exacerbated for people who had it already. Meditation absolutely helps. Meditation helps with everything because it puts space between you and the thoughts that bother you. We bother ourselves with our thoughts all the time. We scare ourselves with our thoughts all the time. We irritate ourselves with our thoughts all the time, right? And this is what we're dealing with. We're attempting to no longer do that. So, all right, let's do a little self-compassion meditation before we wrap up, shall we? So let's have you get once again into a comfortable position. And I'm going to just, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to guide you into the meditation, and then I'm going to mute my computer and invite some silence for just a little bit. I'm watching the clock so that if there's any dings that come through, it's not going to make me or the other person, Chris, I think it was, jump as well. So yeah, just when you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes. Get comfortable. Start to breathe slowly through your nose. Remember that extending the out breath, so extending your exhale, automatically triggers the parasympathetic nervous system and calms the body down. So you can play a game and try to extend your exhale a little bit longer each time. So as you breathe and come into this present moment, imagine coming home to yourself. You are a beautiful soul. You deserve your love. You deserve to be patient with yourself. You deserve to be kind and loving. You deserve peace. I want you to imagine yourself as a little child. See if you can conjure an image, a favorite memory. A special haircut, or maybe you could even see your hands as a child. Bring that young part of you in front of you as best you can. See this sweet little one staring back at you. So innocent. That little child has the same self inside of him or her that you have inside of you now. You, the soul, are timeless. Just imagine reaching out for that child and pulling her toward you. Gently pulling her toward you into your heart. Place your hands over your heart. Both of your hands. Go ahead and just place them right there. Feel that little being. Imagine what it would be like to just hold that little being in your arms. Let him or her melt into you. Let the child feel your love. Beautiful. Now, as you do this, I want you to imagine a great mother behind you. Whatever image occurs to you. Could be a grandmother image, could be Mother Mary, could be a loving presence, a feminine loving presence behind you. I want you to imagine that loving mother presence behind you, wrapping her arms around you and this child. I want you to feel the love and the warmth of a loving mother. As you hold this child of yours, let her hold you. Let's stay there for a little bit. Beautiful. When you're ready, you can slowly and gently come back to the room. Take your time. There's no rush. How was that? Was that good? Was that helpful? Yeah. Yeah, I know sometimes meditation brings up tears. You know, we're not used to being quiet. We're not used to being with ourselves. A release is a good thing. You know, you all know me by now. I love tears. I think they're a good thing. You know, it's a beautiful way for the body to just, the nervous system to regulate itself. And this practice, you know, what I'm wanting for all of you is to take this practice into your life and become this loving teacher and mother to yourself, who is committed to giving yourself this gift on a regular basis, because it will change everything. It really will. I'm just looking through the chat box here for a minute. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to do before surgery. Yes, you might find yourself letting go of things in your physical life as you learn to let go of them inside yourself. So we have a few minutes left. If there's anybody that has a question or wants to speak, you're welcome to, as long as we can keep it brief in case there's more than one person that would like to speak. You can use if you go down to reactions, if you're on a computer, you can raise your hand that way, or you can put something in the chat box. There we go. I have a big family with the text chain. Hi there. Prasad, I'm asking you to unmute. You just need to unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Chitra here.
Oh, Chitra. Hi, Chitra. Yes, yes.
Hi, thank you, Cheryl. It was beautiful. I think I really liked you saying that you become your best friend and that you don't need anybody else outside, and
Yes.
we cannot control outside things or people. I have recently written a book about words, about poetry from Hindi films. I mean, you guys might know them as Bollywood, but I like to say Hindi films.
Mhm.
And I've realized that we need to heal the world one word at a time.
Mhm.
So our words are very, very important. So I
Mhm.
just wanted to make a note of that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's really lovely to see you. And yes, this is what we're doing is what I want for all of you is to become absolutely to become your own best friend, to be a safe place for yourself, right? To be the place that you turn to first when things happen in your life, because you know you'll be there for yourself. Sarah, welcome.
Thank you for your patience. It takes me a few extra seconds to find my mouse sometimes.
Remember that. Yes, no
Yes,
worries.
thank you. Thank you very much, Cheryl. I have too found myself being a lot more patient with myself. And I've also got that type of comment from a couple of my family members. My dad especially has mentioned that. And I know that I can do it at least a few times a week.
Mhm.
And I used to be a little bit hard on myself. Oh, Sarah, you can't do it 7 days, then, or 6 days, then don't do it. But now that I can do it I try and do it at least 4 or 5. And I know that I am very patient, a lot more patient with myself.
That's great.
Not all the time, but I'll notice it when I'm not.
Yes. Well, that's really important. That's a very important point. First of all, we're cultivating a practice, and the practice makes a big difference. Most of us know, right? I would imagine a lot of you here have said that you wanted to meditate more regularly. Everybody has said that. I said that for years. Um, it's the practice of it. It's moving yourself toward the idea that you will meditate every day, and then engaging in that practice, whether it starts 3 times a week, and goes to 4 to 5, whatever. The practice is what makes the difference. It's not the meditation, it's the practice.
Yes.
And when you start to, it's just like when you're meditating, like I have meditation sometimes, and my mind is so noisy and annoying. And I think, good for me, I got to notice that, right? When you notice that your mind is driving you crazy, you have to ask yourself, who's noticing? Who's noticing?
Mhm.
Your mind isn't noticing it's acting crazy, you are. And now you've created a witness perspective, and that's what we want, because
Okay.
that's what gives you the power, is having a separation between those two things. So it's great that you recognize it, Sarah. And I'll tell you, thank you. And I will tell you that you're up to something good when family members or people around you start noticing that you're calmer to be around too, right? It's nice to get that feedback. So thank you. Hi, Vincy. Your turn. Welcome.
I just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome.
Meditation is something that I've done, but you came up in my feed when I was having some anxiety at this time of day. And to be in a group of mindful people and I've learned some new tools, which was really wonderful. But Cheryl, I want to tell you, you're just an incredible human being. And I hope your husband tells you every day, your cards have saved my life. They've slowed me down. I hit the right thing when I pull them. And I was in a group for a cancer group, and this minister pulled out your cards and had all of us go around and use the cards. And that's when I knew you really had something.
Oh,
So
thank you.
you're healing people everywhere.
Thank you.
And give your husband a hug for me, because I too connect with people who have passed, and his book is touching. Take care.
Thank you very much, Vincy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hi, Amy.
Hi. I did also want to say thank you so much. The other thing I wanted to say was during one of the meditations today, an old quote came to my mind: silence is golden.
Yeah.
And now I get it.
There you go. I love it. Yes, yes. And now I get it too. Like I will remember that differently. Thank you because of you. Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you. All right, let's see. I think that's everybody. Let me just check the chat boxes before we say goodbye. You are so welcome, everyone. And I'm so grateful that you've been here with me. Yes. Yeah, Dana, thank you for sharing Michael Singer's podcast. That's a really good one. I love his work very much. And I know Michael's been practicing a long time, and I appreciate when a teacher practices what they teach for a long time. And I appreciate his commitment. And even in writing the book, you know, as I was reading Living Untethered, I thought, you know, I appreciate what it took to put what can feel very intangible and a bit esoteric into words. As you were saying, Chitra, words are so important. And he's done a beautiful job of that. I would, again, encourage you to read his book. And it's the kind of book that I would read over and over and over again, because we all need these reminders, which is why I say, please go back to the videos and watch them, because they make all the difference in the world. Chitra, I forgot to say, would you please put your book title in the chat so that people know what it is? You've been here with us, and it's nice to you know what one of our family here is doing in the world. So I'm sure that there's some people that would be interested. Excuse me. Okay, well, please remember, practice makes peaceful. Not perfect, because there is no thing, but practice makes peaceful. I always remind myself of that. And so keeping track, there you go, poetry and emotions on celluloid. There you go. Thank you. That's beautiful. Yes, and Michael's book, my husband's book, Postcards from the Cosmic Club of Everlasting Souls, is there too. Thank you, Lisa. So practice makes peaceful. You are worthy of the time and attention. At some point, if you practice enough, you will recognize that the most important thing you'll do during the day is practice. It will be the most important thing you do. And yes, practicing with pets is a very good idea, Vinci. I meditate with my little cats all the time, little Wednesday especially. So anyway, I'm so grateful that you all have been on this journey with me. And I look forward to seeing you again, because I will absolutely be doing something again. This is not the end of us. But I'm glad you're here. I'm grateful that you've shown up. I hope that you'll use the resources on the YouTube channel. And I will look forward to seeing you during our next adventure, shall we? All right. Thank you, everybody. Lots of love. Bye.